around here. There's a bunch of crooks around here.
You ain't supposed to be in that job, boy. Get over there, man.
No, that's a total no, man. If I come in.
Is my salary going up?
Bahamian people got to wake up.
This is my 5 cents and I approve this message.
Cable Bahamas is confident it will become the country's second mobile phone service operator. A man charged in the magistrate's court for his mother's murder. Another man charged for last month's fire at Bamsey. Plus, the deputy leader of the FNM hits out at government over the state of the economy. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. As government moves to liberalize the telecommunications sector, Cable Bahamas' Vice President of Marketing is confident the company has taken the necessary steps to place them ahead of the other two bidders vying for the country's second mobile license. With Cable Bahamas being the only 100% Bahamian-owned company in the running, the Vice President believes it is by far the most prepared company to obtain that license. He also commented on the government's plans to own 51% of the shares in that company. Kyle Joaquin reports.
To excel.
For customer, for company,
For country.
I pledge.
I pledge
to excel.
At Cable Bahamas, we pledge to excel.
They've gone from being the country's sole cable television provider to the first broadband internet provider, and from offering landline services to households and businesses 3 years ago to now having almost 30% of the country's telecommunications market. Cable Bahamas, according to its VP of Marketing, David Burrows, has been a force in telecommunications for years now and aims of becoming the company to be granted the second mobile license in the country. Cable Bahamas is up against Jamaica-based company Digicel and UK-based Virgin Mobile. Prime Minister Christie has already indicated that we could know by May which company is chosen. Burrows believes Cable Bahamas is in the best position for the license.
When you take a look just at that model alone in terms of competing against BTC, Cable Bahamas has proven itself. As I said, we move into the telecommunications market. We've already come in and taken 30% of that market in just a short period of time. No one has ever challenged an incumbent and come up with those type of numbers ever. And we've done it in 3 years. So I think you just need to take a look at the landscape and what we've been able to achieve and what we are continuing to achieve in this market.
Cable Bahamas currently has nearly 75% of the broadband internet market, and Burrows says the company has the infrastructure and the know-how to smoothly operate cellular services. That, he said, at the moment is its main focus, as it already has a full staff and identified someone to head that division. The Prime Minister has indicated government's plans to initially own 51% of shares in the new company, but eventually sell them to private shareholders. Some, like FNM Chairman Michael Pintard, have already called it a bad idea, saying it's a setup for the government to dominate the telecommunications industry. However, Burrows said that announcement didn't come as a surprise to the company, and Cable Bahamas has no problem with it. The government, through the National Insurance Board, already owns 22% of Cable Bahamas, in addition to the 7% already owned by the Treasury.
We all bid understanding how everything would be set up. This is not anything that's a surprise to anyone. Everybody understands completely what the rules are going in. So there are no issues with Cable Bahamas and that structure.
Our news team got a tour of Cable Bahamas' call center, where Burrows said people are stationed 24/7 to handle customer care needs. Burrows says the investment Cable Bahamas has made in the country over many years is tremendous. For example, he said it has already invested over $400 million in infrastructure.
Cable Bahamas invests in the Bahamian community, whether it's through salaries, electricity bills, water, gas, stationery, you name it, back into the Bahamian economy, over $50 million a year, which is 280%, a multiple of 280% of our net income is reinvested every single year into the Bahamian economy. And that does not include capital infrastructure.
Cable Bahamas currently has 470 full-time employees and around 100 contract workers. 99% of its staff, according to Burroughs, is Bahamian. Now again, if granted that second cellular license, Burroughs believes Cable Bahamas has the ability to provide the best cellular coverage in the country. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
BCPOU President Bernard Evans says if BTC doesn't iron out all its technical issues, it may have a problem once competition enters the cellular market. He pointed to the network glitch last Friday, which once again prevented some BTC customers from accessing data and other services. That's a recurring problem for BTC. Evans called it devastating and questions whether BTC customers will stick around when there's an alternative available.
Making a statement about whether or not we fear competition is not about fearing competition. It's fearing what happened on the weekend pass. That is what we fear. We just want to make sure that all of our ducks in the row, the products that we provide, is at optimum level, so that our loyal customers will remain with us, and that is very, very important.
Evans said despite his criticism, he remains a BTC customer for life. The company has also been plagued with drop calls and system blackouts, not to mention mounting customer complaints, even from the Prime Minister. Its CEO, Leon Williams, said last week the company will not roll over and play dead while someone comes into the country and takes over. Williams said they had to fight for the 779 Bahamian employees whose jobs and mortgages depend on BTC. While that talk sounds good, Evans is skeptical it's being followed up with the required action to build customer loyalty.
ICT is very important, as you know, and the cellular phone is a very, very strategic component to ICT. As you know, a lot of people, they transact business. It's not just for phone devices. You transact business and all that, and so everybody's come now to depend on it. And that's your livelihood. If that's your livelihood, and obviously it has to be able to work for you when you need it. And so we're very, very concerned about that, and we're going to speak to management about how could we mitigate or prevent that from happening again.
As a union leader, Evans says he is also worried about the reputation of at least two of the companies vying for that second cellular license regarding their past treatment of employees. A man who allegedly suffocated his 81-year-old mother to death appeared in magistrate's court today charged with murder. 56-year-old Jerome Butler, seen here in the white shirt, appeared before Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt. He was represented by attorney Ian Cargill. It is alleged that sometime between Tuesday, February 3rd and Wednesday, February 4th, by means of unlawful harm, Butler caused the death of Princess Butler. We're told the victim was found dead at her Petersfield Road home around 8 a.m. last Wednesday morning with injuries to her body. Police say an autopsy was performed, which revealed the cause of death to be asphyxia, suffocation. Their investigation then led to the arrest of the victim's son. Butler was not required to enter a plea to the charge and was not eligible for bail in the magistrate's court. Ferguson Pratt advised him he could apply to the Supreme Court for bail. He was remanded to Her Majesty's prisons until his next court appearance on April 14th for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. Also appearing in magistrate's court today, the man police believe is responsible for setting fire to a dormitory at the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute last month. 50-year-old Dave Moxy, a.k.a. Davo of Skinny's Point, Fresh Creek, Andros, seen here in the brown jacket, appeared before Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt. He was charged with 1 count of arson. It's alleged that on Thursday, January 15th, Moxy intentionally and unlawfully caused a male dormitory at Bamsey to be set on fire. That blaze reduced the male dorm to a charred shell, setting back construction and adding to the project's increasing cost. In the aftermath of the fire, Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray estimated the flames caused more than $1 million worth of damage. Moxy was not required to enter a plea to the charge, and the matter of bail was deferred to next Monday. His case will proceed to the Supreme Court by way of a voluntary bill of indictment. When he was asked if he had anything to say, Moxy told the court the investigation was poorly executed and his rights are being violated. The Chief Magistrate asked him what rights. Moxy then explained he was in Fresh Creek, Andros when the incident occurred, and his relatives can attest to that. In response, Ferguson Pratt noted he was suggesting he had an alibi, which is a matter for trial and not an arraignment. However, she made note of his comments. Moxy was remanded to prison until his next court appearance. In other news, Free National Movement Deputy Leader and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama Peter Turnquest today blasted the government, claiming the Christie administration is making things sound better than they really are when it comes to the state of the economy. Jasmine Brown was in the House of Assembly this morning and filed this report.
Despite the optimism expressed by the Christie administration, Turnquest insists the government is painting too rosy a picture. The F&M deputy leader made the comments during his contribution to the mid-year budget debate. He insisted the situation is not as good as the government insists, and added that despite what was being presented, he and others are concerned.
After all the promises made and with all that has happened in this country since May 2012, Mr. Speaker, this government has been more lucky than good.
Turnquest was responding to presentations made in the House of Assembly over the last few days. Last Wednesday, Prime Minister Perry Christie defended the government's commitment to provide jobs. As other government ministers have pointed out, Christie says statistics show that while thousands of jobs have been added, even more people have joined the workforce. He said it would be simply incorrect to interpret these statistics as suggesting that net jobs have been lost in the Bahamian economy over this period in question. Turnquest disagreed.
What world does this government live in? With unemployment at 16% in New Providence, 18.6% in Grand Bahama, 20.3% in Abaco, and with youth unemployment at 31.2%, the highest it's ever been. What are they talking about? Many families find themselves no better off today than they were in 2012. And in many instances, they are far worse off than they were as job losses continue and lost opportunities grow. Despite the fuzzy math, that side continues to repeat in this Honorable House to confuse the statistics. The truth is that the total number of unemployed persons is 2,415 higher today than it was when this government came to office. And unfortunately, it is rising.
The national unemployment rate is 15.7%, while youth unemployment is 31%. And while there has been some upturn in the economy, Turnquest insisted that had less to do with the PLP and more to do with the global economy.
The government is seeking to take credit for the external global recovery, which has positively stimulated some pockets of our economy. But these were the same external global factors which, during 2007 to 2012, were responsible for the very negative downturn in our economy, which, before coming to office, this government convinced Bahamians did not exist. Today, they are boasting that we have weathered the storm. The worst is behind us. But oh, how their tongues have changed since coming to office.
Turnquest insisted that much more work needs to be done before the government pats itself on the back. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
You're watching the best in Bahamian news. There's more when NB12 returns.